Good morning, class 9. How are you guys doing? I guess you all are doing fine, good. So, there will be notes uploaded on your website. Please log in to their website, re register again, register yourself with your name and class. With in the drop down section, please put student, don't put yourself as teacher. You're a student of that class with your name and last name or whatever you want to do, but your name has to be there and a valid email ID and which class you are logging into. So, and in that class, in your class, in class 9, there will be a separate section for your downloads and uploads. Okay, so you can check it out there, all your information. At least from my side, whatever I have, I'm going to post it for you. I'll upload it for you so that you can go through them. It's going to be a lot of help to you for grammar, English, or whatever I have. I'm going to post it for you so that it will be easy for you to get access to it and study through it. So that will be the best part ever possible to tell you. Next, I was wanting to tell you is that make sure you keep yourself healthy, keep yourself in a disciplined manner, and physical activity is very much needed at this age. Don't get stressed. Talk to parents, have fun with them, ask them something about history, about going back into your roots, or talk about your city, talk about your village, ask them as many questions as possible because they are the best teachers. And I share only information with you and I try to explain things about life and all, but they have come through that and they know they are guiding you. You are the children, you are the specific, you people are the children of your parents, so you will come to know. They will tell you more about and they'll guide you in the best manner. I do the polishing, they guide you. I just patch up the places where they are not able to do it or they are very busy. So when you come to school, we do that for you. That's our job, and we guide you. We put you the guidelines, and then you walk on that. Those who walk on that are winners, and those who don't, they don't win. They're not losers, but they don't win. So everybody can't win, but everyone has to compete. Everyone has to go through that, cross that rope. The end, everyone has to cross it either walking or running. So that depends upon you what you want to do. So rest is like that. So please be in touch with the download part and get your stuff there. You must have got it by now also, I don't know, but anyways, because I don't get feedbacks, that's a very, I don't get any criticism or any feedbacks. That's very odd. Anyways, so what to do is we'll do with the women in the Russian Revolution. What were the women's the causes, the part of the women in that? But before that, I want to read the book where we left. I had explained you about the February Revolution, Petrograd, in my information, my notes. So today we'll just follow the book. So we'll be there on that same page. The February Revolution in Petrograd. In the winter of 1917, conditions in the capital, Petrograd, were grim. The layout of the city seemed to emphasize the divisions among its people. Now see, what I explained, just try to match. Or when you watch this video, simultaneously go back to my other video, my past video, and see what I said and compare it with what I'm reading in today. Or if you have already gone through it, so while I'm reading, you will come to know and you are also reading the same thing. So reading, going into books will give us much more information and knowledge. So some people think it's boring or only reading, but the people who read and try to understand and dig into it will, again I said, they'll be on the track. The workers' quarters and factories were located on the right bank of the river Neva. On the left bank were the fashionable areas, the Winter Palace, the official buildings, including the palace where the Duma met. In February 1917, food shortages were deeply felt in the workers' quarters. The winter was very cold. There had been exceptional frost and heavy snow. Parliamentarians wishing to preserve elected government were opposed to the Tsar's desire to dissolve the Duma. Okay. On February 22nd, a lockout took place at the factory on the right bank. So there was a river, so this bank, the good people, the posh people, and this side all the laborers, working class common people. On February 22nd, a lockout took place at the factory on the right bank. The next day, the workers in 50 factories called a strike in sympathy. In many factories, women led the way to strikes. This came to be called the International Women's Day. Demonstrating workers crossed the factory quarters to the center, to the capital. The Nevsky Prospect. At this stage, no political party was actively organizing the movement. As the fashionable quarters and the official buildings were surrounded by workers, the government imposed a curfew. Demonstration dispersed by the evening, but they came back on the 24th and 25th. The government called out the cavalry and the police to keep an eye on them, just to keep an eye. On Sunday, 25th February, the government suspended the Duma Tsar. Politicians spoke out against the measure. Demonstrators returned in force to the streets on the left bank on the 26th. On the 27th, police headquarters were attacked and ransacked. The streets thronged with people raising slogans about bread, wages, better hours and democracy. The government tried to control the situation and called out the cavalry once again. However, the cavalry refused to fire on the demonstrators. I had given this explanation fully. You can compare it with my notes. An officer was shot at the barracks of a regiment and 3 other regiments mutinied, voting to join the strike workers. They wanted to join the people. They were understanding the situation. Striking workers had gathered from a Soviet or council in the same building at the Duma met. This was the Petrograd Soviet. The very next day, a delegation went to see the Tsar. The military commanders advised him to abdicate. He followed their advice and abdicated on March 2nd. Soviet leaders and Duma leaders formed a provisional government to run the country. Now Russia's future would be decided on a constituent assembly, elected on the basis of universal adult suffrage. Petrograd had to lead the February Revolution that brought down the monarchy in 1970. Okay, I gave it to you in a very long way. Women's Revolution. 1970 Russian Revolution saw the collapse of the Russian Empire, a short-lived provisional government, and the creation of the world's first socialist state under the Bolsheviks. They made explicit commitments to promote the equality of men and women. Many early Russian feminists and ordinary Russian working women actively participated in the revolution, and everyone was affected by the events of that period and the new policies of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union was officially the Union Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, before Russia. It was the federal socialist state in northern Eurasia that existed from 1922 to 1991 under the Marxism. A union of multiple national Soviet republics. In practice, its government and economy were highly centralized until its final years came to demolish. The provisional government that took power after the February 1917 overthrow of the Tsar promoted liberty and made Russia the first major country to give women the right to vote. But as soon as the Bolsheviks took power in October 1917, they liberalized laws on divorce and abortion, decriminalized homosexuality, and proclaimed a new higher status for women. Anessa Arman, Alexandra Kollontai, Nadezhda Krupskaya, and Alexandra Artukhina. She was a French-Russian communist politician, member of the Bolshevik and feminist who spent most of her life in Russia. She was an important figure in the pre-revolution Russian communist movement. Okay. Alexandra Mikhailovna Kollontai was a Marxist revolutionary. She was first a member of the Mensheviks from 1915. And after that she served to the Bolsheviks, welfare in the Bolshevik government from 1917 to 1918. She became the first woman in history to become an official member of a governing candidate of a cabinet. She was a diplomatic counselor of the Soviet legation in Norway. Can you imagine? In Norway she was posted, Eurasia. Alexandra Mikhailovna Domontovich. Okay, that was her name. She was a revolutionary and writer. Okay, so this was all about her. She was there, first woman in cabinet. Then came Nadezhda Krupskaya. Then we have Alexandra Artukhina. She was a Russian Bolshevist and revolutionary who rose to sit on the secretariat of the CPUC, the Central Committee. But after that, they were all prominent Bolsheviks. A decade later, Stalin was General Secretary and largely reversed the forms. But few women remained in their highly visible public positions. There were some liberations after the 1905 on the tight restrictions of women and the creation of a national parliament. But in 1908, the forces of reaction were pushing back hard and feminists were in retreat. They had to move back. Women were barred from universities and there was a general sense of despair among liberal forces. Right? The outbreak of war in August 1914 was a surprise. The empire was not prepared at all. As men hurriedly put into uniform by the millions, women took on new roles. The number of women workers in the industrial centers rose to over 1 million. As 250,000 women joined the workforce between 1914 and 1917. Peasant women, very poor women also took roles, taking over some of their husbands' farm work. Women fought directly in the war in some small numbers on the front lines, often disguised as men. and 1,000 more served as nurses. This social condition of women during World War I affected the role they played in the coming revolutions. Imagine women, that's what I'm talking about. Feminism. What is feminist? Who supports feminism? How can you define it? The equality of sexes, belief in social, economic, and political equality